Welcome back to the Win with Dice podcast, a podcast featuring members of the Win with Dice team. I'm Calvin, and I'm joined here by Ramon.
Hey guys, this is the first time listening to the Win with Dice podcast. It's a podcast all about tabletop RPGs. Calvin and I like to take a casual approach to the hobby, so we like to talk about the games that we run, the games that we play in, and all the cool, wonderful people we get to play the game with. If this is your first time listening to the Win with Dice podcast, thanks for checking us out. And if you haven't, this is your first time playing tabletop RPGs, go find yourself a table and go play. And if it's your first time, if you're a player, you should probably give your GM a break and maybe think about running your own game.
Indeed. So this week, we want to get into a whole bunch of Pathfinder 2nd edition stuff. Mainly the new War of Immortals playtest that just came out, including the two new classes, the Animist and the Exemplar. We'll be getting into stuff that happened on the stream, and if we have time, we'll be getting into the details of the classes themselves, maybe just like a bit of a look at some of the highlights of them, instead of, and if people are interested in just seeing like a deeper dive into specific feats and stuff, we could do that as well, but for now, I just want to take a look at them. But before we get into all of that, we have to get to the most important part of the show, the Win with Dice weekly GM tip of the week.
Yes, the Win with Dice weekly GM tip of the week, brought to you by me, I think. We didn't actually talk about this, but I guess I learned something recently. Or actually, Tim learned something recently.
Okay.
So recently, I won't spoil anything, but we concluded the unintended consequences. I forgot how I called it. the second I guess season 2 of Tim being our GM. Going through some unintended consequences of the first campaign that he ran for us with the same characters. But we had a very crackpot scheme to deal with the final bad guy, and it worked. Which sometimes when you give your players a lot of stuff, they'll figure out a way to deal with it or start to use it against you, right? In like a cool kind of fun way. I would say the tip of the week is let your players do it. If your players, sat down for like an hour and talked it all out and figured out some crazy way to like one-shot the boss, they earned it because they had to deal with like all of the stuff and they had to plan ahead, and then everything had to go according to plan, which at any point as the GM, you could have just stopped it technically because you have perfect knowledge of the plan because they can't do it in secret technically because you're there, right?
Sure.
But yeah, sometimes giving them cool, wacky items that, and letting them use it in creative ways is going to make that final boss fight actually even more memorable than them just getting their asses handed to them and winning at the last second. Sometimes you have those fights where, you it's to the teeth and nail, and sometimes they come up with a good plan and then they get your bad guy. I think there's a place for both those things in tabletop RPGs.
Yeah. Admittedly, though, when I'm running games and people are planning stuff, I have a bad habit of just like, that's when I update my notes and stuff. Like, that's when I'm not too worried about what's going on, and I just pay attention if they ask me a question, because it's like, when does a group of players ever actually enact their plan? And not just change everything at the last minute.
Well, to be fair, you know what? Honestly, it was crazy. It happened to me too. There was like a MacGuffin, the demon net, right? My wife just decided that she wanted the demon net, and me being the GM, I was like, okay, I guess here's this demon net. You can catch one demon, no strings attached, and the bad guy, she's a demon, right? Or like she has demon powers, so the net obviously worked on her. And she's a big, scary bad guy who can just kick everybody's ass. But, threw the net on her. And then I'm like, well, I guess you win.
Yeah, I don't know if I would call that a plan, but...
It wasn't necessarily a plan, but it was still like a tense moment. Like, you guys even missed the whole bunch. Like, you know what I mean? Even though there's like a one-shot kill device or something like that, things just have to go a certain way. Like, it has to go all in their favor, right? And you just don't pull any punches and see if the plan works or not, right? Don't worry about it. It's all fun.
Sometimes players fall through with their plans. I think that was really fun. I'm really excited to actually get into recapping the last couple of unintended consequences sessions, because a whole lot of things have changed, especially for my character, and I really want to talk about all that stuff that's going on.
Oh my god, that session was crazy, and I loved every minute of it. Even the part where we did that thing to the bad guy. To be fair, he hurt our families.
Yeah, man, it's all about family.
Yeah, it's all about family. This was a good old fashioned revenge plot.
Man, my heart was gonna fall out of my chest during that session. Okay, I want to get into it, but we do not have time.
Yeah, that'll be that'll be a next episode kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so look forward to that, folks. Anyway, there you go, folks. There's your tip of the week. Let your players do some goofy shit to your bosses, because it's fun.
All right, let's get into some Pathfinder stuff. Specifically, the recent stream that happened a few days ago, at time of recording, and I guess time of listening, on the Pasion channel, where they revealed War of Immortals, the upcoming playtest, or currently ongoing playtest, upcoming book for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. The stream featured Michael Sayer and James Case, and they were talking about the new book. There's some archetypes within the book, and additionally, there are, well, for the main factor of the book so far are these 2 new classes that are currently an ongoing playtest, and there'll be a link to the playtest below. Like we mentioned before, the classes are the Animist and the Exemplar. And I'll get into what I want to do with what I want to do for now is just we'll get into things that happened on the stream that they talked about, and then we'll get into some stuff about the classes themselves, just revealing things in that order. One specific thing that was mentioned though is that the classes have capstone feats, so like 19, 20 level feats that make the character immortal in different ways, like just unaging or regeneration. And that's part of like the reason for why the title of this is War of Immortals.
Ooh, cool.
And again, this book is going to feature the death of one of the core deities of Pathfinder. And we still don't know which one.
Kalian, that's that one. Let's get that.
Oh,
Get rid of that guy.
That'd be sad.
Well, I mean, that guy was a drunk anyway, so like whatever.
He's the fun one.
Oh well, it's not. Sometimes you have to get off your ass and do some goddamn deity work. You can't just be drunk all the time, Caden Kalian.
I mean, what else do you have to do? For people who use digital tools, there is a module on Foundry that is available. If I can find the link for it, I'll link it below. Additionally, Demiplane, which is a site with digital TTRPG tools, will also have a free character builder. So if those things are available, I will be sure to link them below in the description. As well, it was mentioned during the stream that there are a couple of links you can go to for support and donations to help with Maui wildfire relief efforts, because one of the classes has like a whole lot of inspiration from that region. So it was just one of those things that they included in the stream, so I'll include those links below as well.
Yeah. Again, I really appreciate Pathfinder's dedication to bring aspects of all cultures as much as possible, right, into their tables of RPG. So, you know, if you are from like that kind of culture or that kind of background, you feel included, and I think that's like one of the special parts about Pathfinder specifically. Yeah,
especially the setting itself, which I haven't dived into enough as a Pathfinder podcaster, but yeah, I know that's one of the major factors of the setting.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start off with the class they started off with in the stream, the Animist, which was mainly designed by Michael Sayer. We got to look at the iconic character, Samo of Icemark, Nephilim with a touch of the Infernal Planes that became a sage after she was able to she went through some training and was able to connect with her grandmother's spirit. And we'll get into some descriptions of how that functions as we describe the class. Again, I'm just going to start with the information that was stated in the stream itself. The class itself is a casting class. It's a wisdom-based divine caster. And the theme of this class, or the unique ability of this class, is that it can bond with spiritual apparitions, which are like incorporeal spirits. And these apparitions can add more skills and spells and abilities onto the Animist themselves. So each of these apparitions...
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, like, instantly while I was reading this, I was like, is this Shaman King? I'm pretty sure this is Shaman King. Like...
I'm sure that's probably in there a bit. I'm obviously not familiar with it, but sure. I don't know. Well, what is Shaman King?
Oh, so well, Shaman King is a shonen battle manga where spirit mediums are fighting over who's going to be king of the spirits world, essentially. Ooh. And they do this by having partner spirits, which could be like spirits like a regular old dude to like spirits of the forest to like archangels of doom, like literally anything that's spiritual they can form a bond with and like merge forms exactly like this, or use them and put them into like items and stuff like that, and they get cool special spirit powers off of it. Like, yeah, it's pretty cool. Some people have like spirits of race cars and like they're like they take the form of angels. I don't know, it was really weird.
Except for the race cars part, it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I think that's probably a riff off of the Fast and Furious franchise, I'm pretty sure. So, it's just layers, right? Yeah. You just steal from what you can and then you put it into your own thing. Yeah, that's how it is. Exactly.
So each of these apparitions, they also come with a vessel spell that basically functions as a sustainable focus spell, which we'll talk about a bit more when we get to mechanic stuff. They were inspired by the Binder from D&D and the Medium from Pathfinder 1, but made to be a bit more flexible, instead of being very specifically situational sort of classes. They wanted something that was...
because the Medium only had like one dude, right?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. It was like, this is your man's and this is all you get.
Yeah, exactly. So they wanted something that's like always good at a particular role, but still flexible enough to adapt. So you always have something that you can do, instead of being in a position where there's nothing you can do because of how you prepared incorrectly, perhaps.
Yeah.
So each apparition, additionally, along with the focus spell that it has, it will also have its own set of spells from 1st to 9th rank, which are going to be themed on the apparition itself. So like a primal one might have like earth and fire based spells, a ghostly one might have more occult or stealth based stuff attached to it. Mm-hmm. The caster themselves will have their own pool of spells. They'll have a pool of divine spells, and their main casting ability will be wisdom.
Yeah, cool.
So you start with 2 apparitions bonded to you. You get a couple of options. There's 6 options in the book available for people who are playtesting. You'll choose a primary one, and with the primary one, you'll get access to that focus spell. But for both of them, you'll get like access to their skills and other bonuses. Additionally, at higher levels, with your primary apparition, you can channel like an avatar ability where you essentially channel that apparition into physical form, and it gives you different like attacking and damaging abilities, like physical changes to match that apparition.
Yeah, right. Like you have a cool samurai man, and then you're good at cutting people or something. Yeah, this is literally Shaman King. I'm pretty sure this is just Shaman King. Comment down below if you think that this is Shaman King if you watched it, because it's vibing right now. I'm vibing with it, man. I believe it. I love it. I love that they also incorporate like, the spirits of like nature too, right? It's like those things exist as well as like the spirits from just actual people. Well, maybe not actual people, but like fearsome warriors and heroes and shit like that, right? Wait a minute. This is like the Fate series. This is also like that. Anyway, I'm getting
I get the feeling that people at Paizo watch a lot of anime.
I was gonna say like the more yeah, I know, the more that is being coming out of Paizo these days, the more I'm like, those guys, I'm pretty sure like anime as much as I do. So like
it sounds like
starting to feel it. Yeah.
So yeah, you can gain more apparitions as you level up, and they can be changed when your character does their daily preparations at the beginning of each day. The class does, at the moment at least, break down into a couple of subclasses that are known as animistic practices, and you have the Sage and the Channeler. The Sage is more for if you want to focus more on that primary spirit that you have, you can have an ability that allows your primary spirit to basically possess your body. At that point, you are immune to most control effects, unless they are very high level, like twice your level. And additionally, the spirit can do things like attacking, using its own spells, or apparition actions. And this is like the main way that apparitions become a physical thing. Like if you compare this to the summoner like brings out a actual physical thing onto the battlefield, but apparitions themselves aren't physical unless they're doing something like this where they possess you.
Yeah, they have to actually be in a medium, put into like a medium, so they can affect the real world. Yeah,
exactly.
Cool.
The other one, the Channeler, that one's a bit better at interfacing with multiple spirits. You get the ability to... So normally, if you wanted to change your primary spirit, that would take you 10 minutes, and using the refocus ability. The Channeler can do that in one action, once per... I think I wrote down once per round, but I might be incorrect on that. I'll double check if we get to the mechanics. But it's useful if you just need that other spirit's focus spell like right away, in the heat of the moment during combat. You can't just like stop for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So it has some... There are, of course, class feats as well. Some of them may or may not make it out of the playtest. There are some where the spirit becomes like literal wind beneath your wings, which provides you flight speed, and it can carry you. There is one where you can like momentarily sacrifice your bond to gain like additional spellcasting abilities and then reconnect to it the next day. So you lose that versatility for a bit, but again, you get that momentary use of specific power.
Yeah.
There are some examples of apparitions that were mentioned. The main one, or the one the Iconic has, that you can see in the image of the Iconic character, is the Custodian of Groves and Gardens. And in basic, like this gives like farming and herbalism lore. It has its own set of spells that you'll see listed in the playtest. One thing that really stands out for this one to me is the Vessel spell, which is again like it functions like a focus spell, so you have to spend a focus point to use it. And the one that this gives you, Garden of Healing, it's a I think this is a pretty useful spell in some situations. So every living creature within 10 feet of you will gain healing. You can give 1d4 HP to every living creature around you within a 10-foot radius, and you can sustain this spell for up to 1 minute. So you can essentially give 1d4 per round. It's 1d4 per round for up to 1 minute. So it's essentially 10d4 to everything around you if you sustain it.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, that's like I don't know what the math is on that for like a healing spell, but for a focus points, it's pretty good. And it gets every time it heightens, you get a D4. So up to a minute. That's crazy. Then that means that at any like when you guys are just chilling, you guys could just heal back up to full essentially.
Pretty much.
Because
like it says every creature, so I'm pretty sure if you use it in combat, it might also heal your enemies. But yeah, if you use this outside of combat to heal back up from a brutal fight or whatever, and then you just use refocus, you can get your point back.
Yeah, true. Interesting. Although I don't know what the rules is for sustaining a spell while out of combat. I think that might be a couple of rolls or something like that for like exhaustion, right?
Well, from as far as I can recall, it's just going to... Because when you sustain something in combat, that just means you need to take an action to continue using it. If you're outside of combat, there isn't really anything to stop you from continuing to sustain a spell, because you're not tracking every 6 seconds of time.
That's true. Cool. Nice. 10d4s. Nice. Easy.
Yep.
We could use a lot of that around here.
Truly good. So yeah, they also went to some other examples of apparitions. The Imposter in Hidden Places, which is for like being around, like being sneaky, going into dark areas, disturbing your enemies. The Steward of Stone and Fire, which has like primal power with earth and volcanic magic. A spell that can create like little bursts of lava. You can sustain it to like use it multiple times. Mm-hmm. and the Witness to Ancient Battles, which can give you... I thought this was interestingly unique, because it can give you battleground and heraldry lore, like, knowledge. But the Vessel spell itself also provides, like, weapon knowledge that a typical caster would normally lack. So you get weapon proficiencies, you get the reactive strike, you get some bonuses on your attack and damage rolls as well, in ways that a caster would normally not have access to.
Yeah, that's pretty cool because, you know, obviously you guys are like sharing the one body or whatever, right? You guys are channeling all that battle knowledge. I think that's really cool because you could have like you know, I think it's a cool opportunity to also have your own NPC to narrate as like a player. So you have like two characters, like one, you know, you could be like the silly person, and then like this battle hardened bad boy could be like the straight man.
Yeah, man.
that could lead to a lot of comedy.
That's exactly what I'm kind of picturing here. It would kind of be like you're just your average Joe, and then you're channeling the spirit that's like this toughened battle master who's seen combat all around the world.
He has a cool British accent.
Yeah, man. Every tough old combat guy is Zaid from Mass Effect for me.
It is just Zaid. Nice, yeah. I also like the I don't know, Stalker in the Darkened Bows? Is that how you say?
Bows. Stalker and Darkened Bows.
Yeah, I don't know what bow is. I don't know what bow bun is. I don't think that's what they're talking about. But I like that. So this one's like you're embodying like the dark forest, right? Like those kind of you know, the deep dark forest where there's a lot of danger, you know, it's unfriendly to humans, but you just like, you find, I like the idea of connecting with that, the idea of some like malevolent evil forest spirit and being like, all right, we can hang out. Like
yeah, and then it gives you bonuses on like transforming into stuff, and you can like reshape yourself every round basically, because you can choose a different animal shape whenever you sustain the spell.
Yeah, it's cool. It gives you like, you know, you get the transform to stuff, as well as like the vessel spell just makes you into like, it gives you like polymorph, but you turn into like this shadowy form of it. Yeah. Like you just get coated by this stuff, and it was like, it just sounds so cool.
Yeah, it's got like a lot of what I'm noticing between these two classes is they have a lot of versatility and a whole lot of options.
Yeah,
a lot of ways to mix it up and choose what you want to do.
Yeah. It feels like each one is, or at least in like for this class, each one of these vessel things has like a very different flavor of like spirit, right? Like and it just shows off in the gameplay, which is what I really like, because, you know, I don't know how you would like, obviously like there's so many options you can choose from, and I don't know what they're going to go with, but it felt like they went with a wide variety, especially too because, like, you know, you have the juxtaposition between like the Stalker and the Darkened Burrows with like the Custodian of the Groves and Gardens, where one's explicitly like being nice and the other one is being not nice. Right? I could see somebody being like, well, I want to kind of be like a nature person, so I'm going to choose, you know, Custodian of the Grove Gardens and the Stalker of the Darkened Burrows, and kind of having that kind of like nature can both, you know, provide and take away at the same time, right? It's like the cycle. You could have like a cool story between your character like that. You embody these two spirits.
Healing energy and dangerous. The flora and the fauna, basically.
Exactly, right. And like I also like that it kind of is like, when you're like a cleric, you're like kind of channeling the powers of your god, right? But I like that these are like local spirits, like, you know what I mean? Like they're just like more grassroots, I should say. It's not like I'm the cleric of Cade and Kalian, so I get drunk. You know what I mean? It's like, no, I went to this forest and this forest spirit was here and was like, I'll lend you my power, but you must feed me blood. And it's like, okay,
if you want.
Okay, you know what I mean? Like he's from the block, you know, like like
True. Speaking of gods, though, and attaining godhood, they also talked about the Exemplar. They mentioned the iconic character Nahoa, who was originally a farmer, and instead he later in life helped defend his home from a demon. And I'm really truncating this story, but he helped defend his home from a demonic attack, and in the course of that battle, they were both injured. And rather than succumb to his injury, Nahoa gained a part of the demon's power. So Exemplars, before this playtest came out, one of the things they specifically said was that these classes have not existed in Golarion before, and the Exemplar, for plot reasons, has not existed in Golarion before. The specific quote that they mentioned was that because these are a rare class, and these are a rare group of people, it's someone who was hit by a gobbet of god stuff that fell out of the sky when a god was ripped in half.
Shit. Some dude got wrecked. Oh no.
Yeah. Someone got just annihilated, and I'm very curious who it was. But
yeah, like who could it be? Who could it be? I'm not that familiar with all of the gods in Golarion, but I'm putting bets that it's Caden Kaelin. I would love to see that guy go away.
Wow. Get wrecked.
He doesn't even know how he became a god. The guy's such a joke. Like, whatever, man. I want the real OGs. I want those people who showed up and was like, take the damn world devouring serpent monster and put it in the ground. Fuck that guy. I want those guys. Those guys are real. They did the hard work.
Yeah, but Caden's fun to hang out with.
Yeah, well, he could just. He's hanging out with everybody all over the place.
Oh god.
Maybe not. Don't quote me. I actually don't know. I don't know who they would do it. It has to be somebody more important than Caden Kaelin, I think, to make this point and to make it better, right? It has to be probably some sort of. I would say some sort of good aligned god, or that is prominent. Oh man, what if it's like Sarenrae? Would they do that?
There's no way.
They wouldn't do that to Sarenrae, right? Like she's like basically like on the box. Like this is the god. Shit.
I mean, they could, but I don't think so. But maybe. I mean, I'm just glad it's not like Besmara, because she's my favorite. She's like the deity of pirates, and I really want to use her in Starfinder stuff. But thankfully, she's obscure enough to not be the main cast.
That's a.
Well, I mean, she's a real.
It's a real obscure pick, dog. Like the deity of pirates.
Because I just think it's really fun to have like a pirate goddess in space.
Yeah, I bet she has 2 eye patches. Just.
I mean, obviously.
That's how much of a pirate she is.
Okay, let's talk about the Exemplar. So yeah, their key ability is strength or dexterity. These are your upfront fighter classes. Well, not literally fighter classes, but your frontline combatant sort of class. They have a whole lot of HP. It's like 10 plus Constitution for their HP.
Woo. Damn, bruh. That man's thick.
Yeah. So the way the Exemplar works, or the mechanics of the Exemplar, is that they have a divine spark, something that connects them to like this growing sense of godhood. And they can channel that spark into 3 different types of items known as icons. These icons, they have, again, 3 different types. One is a body icon, one is a weapon icon, and one is a worn icon. And you get those basically for free at first level when you become a Exemplar. Including like the worn or the weapon ones. Those, and you can have your conversation with your GM with this, but your character would somehow come across like a very basic level 0 version of a weapon or worn item if they need to channel that would exist as this icon that they can channel their divine spark into. So icons, they have 2 different abilities. A passive ability called Imminence, and if you have multiple Imminence abilities, then they all sort of function at once, and they'll give you passive bonuses like resistances or stuff for attack and damage rolls and things that can sort of increase as you get stronger. And they have an active Transcend ability, which is an ability that you can use. It'll have its own unique effect based on, like, if it's a weapon one, it might be based on the type of weapon it is. In general, the body ones are more defensive, the weapon ones are more offensive, and the worn ones are more like utility stuff. But once you use its Transcend ability, you have to then move your Divine Spark into another icon. And again, this is another thing where they have a lot of versatility, a whole lot of options. Very similar to the Kineticist in a way, which again is a class with a whole lot of options. With this one, you have 3 different slots of items essentially. That you can choose what item you want to use, and then as you're playing, you can choose which one you want to be active and providing its abilities.
Oh my god, all these cool abilities are nuts. Like, I just love the naming conventions too. They sound like just sick. Like, I was sorry, I was like, I'm gonna jump ahead to the Dominion Epitaph, which is just kind of like it's like your power growing, but also like your hero calling, I guess. It's like or like a part of your title. It's like born of bones of the earth, and it's like, oh, perilous under the heavens, that kind of shit. It's really sick.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, this is kind of skipping ahead in my exemplar notes a bit, but those are sort of things that, again, you can probably have this conversation with your GM, but those are... Okay, I'll just say it here because we're talking about it and it's really cool. The class also has something called epithets, which are class features that are like words or phrases or titles that describe your character and provide different effects. So you'll have some basic ones like Brave, which will give you like some basic stuff. It can also let you gain additional movement if you move in a straight line towards an enemy. You'll have your Dominion epithet at 7th level, and these will give you a bit more abilities, like one that increases your carrying weight, and also if you hit something with a critical hit, it'll drive your enemy into the ground, just to name a couple of things it can do. And your Sovereignty epithet, which the one example I listed here, Thief of Moonlight, is a pretty scary one. You can like literally steal light from your enemy's eyes if they miss an attack, or you can turn invisible and move near them, and they have to make a fortitude save to avoid being blinded for a minute or permanently blinded if they critically fail.
Oh my god.
But you can then combine these things as you level up, so depending on, again, if your GM allows, like you can take all these epithets and you can like make them a title for your characters. If you take all of those ones, instead of just being like regular Bob, your character can then be Brave Bob, born of the bones of the earth, thief of moonlight.
Oh, that's the stuff. That's sick. I love it. I love Bob.
I love that that's a mechanical thing you could do with the like just the mechanics of the class.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I was saying before, again, these icons have imminence and transcend abilities, your passive and your active bonuses. So some of them, like the basic worn ones, like there's like a set of sandals that you can like just channel your spark into. You get like a burst of speed, or you can channel it into your weapon and then get some bonuses on your melee attacks. You can only move it once per turn, and it does take an action to move. Or once per round, I should say. And then they gave a few examples, like you can have a body icon called Skin Hard as Iron, and then when it's active, you get resistance to a type of physical damage. And then when you use its ability, it increases that resistance, and enemies who fail their attacks are then made off guard, so they're going to be a bit easier to hit. And they gave examples of like a spear weapon that you can channel some spirit damage into, or a Victor's Wreath, which can be like a flowery laurel you have on your head, or like a medal around your neck, and then allies that are near you can get bonuses on attack rolls, or you can use this ability and they could like instantly remake some saving throws against ongoing effects.
Yeah, and I just love the names again, and everything they give you like so it gives you like a kind of like a buff to whatever you're doing, as well as like an ability, like an actual action to it as well. and they all have like the cool names. Yeah, like the Victory's Wreath has like, you know, 1 moment till glory. Like that's some shit. You're gonna like tell your DM, I'm gonna use 1 moment till glory.
Yeah,
or yeah, fucking where's the other one? Oh yeah, Titan's Breaker. It's just clubs and hammers and axes and shit. And the transcendent like thing is like fracture mountains. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fracture mountains, GM. Here it is.
Yeah, the Exemplar has like some of the best named stuff I've seen. Like since the Kineticist, I guess.
It's true. Whoever's naming this shit these days, they're just on point, man. Like, I'm actually really excited to see if they change any of the names around in when they redo the Pathfinder stuff. Yeah, because these names are really sick. I'm excited to see what else they do.
Oh yeah. Like there's definitely a bunch of stuff that's getting like basic renames, but yeah, I want to get more into it. I'm sure there's gonna be some cool stuff in there. Like I mentioned before, the class itself is rare, so that more applies to like, you know, like Pathfinder Society play and things like that. But also, if you as the GM are worried about having it, then there's your excuse for not having it. I've seen some people say it's a very main character class, and like, I guess, but you could say that about anything, to be honest. But this one, I get where people are coming from, because you're literally like becoming a god.
Yeah, I mean, there's like, this is just like, yeah, a lot of this is a very anime fucking class. Like really, like it's like you are the chosen one, but like literally because you're channeling the power of like extra plater gods, right?
Yeah. Like one thing I said before with the Kineticist is that it could be a game on its own because you have so much options and versatility and so much stuff you can do with it. I feel like the Exemplar could also be a campaign on its own of just trying to achieve divinity.
Oh my god, there's just a feat that's just called motionless cutter. like that's so good. Your weapon's so sharp that even insects alight upon its motionless blade would be severed. like it just touches it, whoosh, dead. Like
whoops.
Whoops. That's so fucking cool.
Yeah, if nothing else, check out the playtest to see the names of stuff.
I just want to steal all the names. I was like, I don't even want someone to play an Exemplar. I just want to give somebody some of these things. Like, just like, here, you're super cool. I think this is also for, like, you know, a GM who just wants to kind of do their own thing instead of just, you know, following this. Like, you could just, I would take these and, you know, maybe slap them onto, like, yeah, if someone is like has like a deity that they worship, or maybe they've done something super cool, like just reward them with this cool ability. Like,
true. I know you like to do that, so
I do like to just be like, here, take this nuke. Don't press that button. But also, yeah.
One ability that I liked, or one feat that I liked, is the Binding Serpent Celestial Arrow, where if your weapon icon is ranged, when you make a strike with it, if it successfully hits, the projectile turns into a bundle of ethereal snakes, and then they can coil around your target.
I love that. Ha!
Snake arrow, go!
Snake arrow, go! I love. Well, this is compliant gold. It's a melee weapon, but basically it gives your icon weapon like the reach trait, and it has the transcend topple the pillar of heavens, which is the coolest name.
Very good.
Yeah, dude. Like, actually, icon. So your icon extends to an impossible length, striking all its way. Deal it's like what, a couple 68s to all creatures in a 60-foot line. It's just you just get the cool Sephiroth sword. they have to make a reflex save.
Like, your sword just grows to 60 feet long. You just slap it down in a line.
Yeah, this is my ultimate move. Topple the pillars of heaven. And then you're just like, whooshing, like, this thing's sick. I
Yeah, man.
feel like everybody should just like you should just have a campaign where like everybody is just this class and everyone gets to
I
just yell out cool attack names because this is all it is. It's all just cool ass attack names, man.
I came very close to doing that. I had like a campaign idea that I put out to. Oh wait, actually, this is a whole other conversation. But I had a list of campaign ideas I was putting out to a group, and one of them was basically just me stealing the plot of Divinity: Original Sin 2, where your character is trying to transcend to the state of divinity, the state of godhood, and that's basically what this class is. But yeah, I again, like, this could be a campaign on its own. In the same way that Kineticist could be like a whole game on its own.
Yeah.
There were some questions from chat. I had made notes of them. Some of them were just like basic stuff, like just asking if does the Exemplar have any healing? And I mean, not really. It's a combat class, so you have a couple of things that might be useful.
That's true. It does have Destined Victory, where you transcend, and it's only you and I, where you just pick up an enemy, and you guys are just fated to duel. And every time someone misses an action against you, you just heal 1d8 plus 5, apparently. You're just like, it's just me and you.
Yeah, Destiny. They did ask what the favorite feats of the classes were. The favorite for the Exemplar being 7-color Cosmic Bridge, which is basically a blasting Bifrost.
I was gonna say, dude, that's like the sickest name too. Like they got even sicker. Fucking Eternity Incinerating Blaze, where the transit ability is called Burn Out of Time. you just kill him. You just kill him, man. You just
Kill
burn
him out of time. Oh yeah, that was the one where it was like if the enemy dies, then whatever effect they had like last turn is nullified, I think.
Yeah. It just erases their this temporal disjunction erases the consequences of their recent actions. Creature die in the last round as a result of you just whatever they did, you just undo it.
Yeah, no, it was actually dead 6 seconds ago.
Yeah, dude, it's like if someone died, they just come back with 5d8 hit points. It's just like you're just like, no.
Yeah, just don't worry, that didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
I killed them. One of the things that was mentioned for the Animist, and this is something that's again similar between the two classes, where they have basically abilities that create immortality in different ways. The Animist has access to Eternal Guide, which is a 20th level feat, where essentially if your character dies and is not returned to life within 24 hours, by whatever means, and no other being has a claim to your soul is then returned to a settlement of your choice after 1 week. And the way it's returned can be based on the apparition that you channel. Like it can like create a new body for you. It can channel your spirit into someone else. But it's essentially like if you die, then you return within a week to whatever your maybe your home settlement or any other settlement that you choose.
Cool.
And the Exemplar has a similar immortality ability. I believe it is also 20th level. Yeah, the Exemplar has a similar 20th level feat where you basically achieve a place beyond mortality where you cease aging. And if you would die for any reason, you can expend all of your focus points, and then you pretty much return at half your HP. You remove negative effects, and you can instantly summon your weapon, as well as shift your Divine Spark into any of your icons.
Dude,
you're also instantly standing, which is very important.
Yeah, you're instantly just like, I'm back. Bro, there's one just called Cutting Without Blade, where you just turn anything into your icon. Literally anything, even mundane objects. They said a blade of grass can just become whatever you need. Like you're just like hanging out with the boys, you're cracking some cans, and all of a sudden, whooshing, here's the.
You're hanging out with Caden, and you're cracking some.
Yeah, you're hanging with
your
Caden.
sword.
You're like, check this, Caden. Just takes his beer can, tears it into like the spear of God killing, just like, watch this. Chucks it, and then the sky falls. Because you're like, oh no. Like, Maybe Caden's the one that accidentally got a god killed. Maybe it wasn't. It was actually just all an
It's just
accident.
an accident. See, now that I would believe.
Paizo, if you're listening, you could just pay me right now.
All right, so that's all like stream info. Real quick, I want to get into a bit more details from the classes from what I've just made notes of from the playtest itself. So the Animist, again, it's the spellcaster that connects to incorporeal spirits. You choose 2 at first level, with 1 being your primary. And under normal circumstances, it takes 10 minutes using the refocus action to switch which one is your primary. And then that just determines which focus spell you get. You do get 2 focus points instead of the 1 that you would normally get. Because normally you get 1 per spell that you know. But I guess technically, if you can channel 2 spirits, you know 2 focus spells. You just don't know them at the same time.
Yeah.
And then the different animistic practices that we mentioned, Channeler and Sage, they provide different boons at higher levels. But one of the things that I noticed when I was actually like reading the stuff on the Animist is that they basically they have focus spells, but they also have prepared and spontaneous spells. So
You're just like, lol, what?
yeah, if you look at the spell list for the Animist, it's not just like, 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 1. It's like 2 plus 2 and then 1 plus 1 for each slot, or each spell rank, I should say. Because that's basically tracking like the spells that the Animist themselves knows, and then the spells that the apparition can cast. So the Animist, like for example, the Animist, a second level Animist will have 2 spell rank 1 slots and 1 apparition spell rank 1 slot. So basically the Animist can prepare 2 different spells from all of the common divine spells, so that's your prepared spells. But the apparition can spontaneously cast any spell it knows with an appropriate slot from the slots it has available. Additionally, all of the Animist spells, all the apparition spells are signature spells, so they can be heightened for free. So you have a lot of spells.
Oh, that's even cooler. That's like way cooler. Ooh, that's really good. Wow, that's really good. I'm like actually really impressed. Oh, that makes it so much cooler that like when you call upon like your like it's like so good. Okay, I'm on board.
Yeah.
I call me the Shaman King because like this is where I'm at right now.
So yeah, it's like instead of having to prepare a higher level one, if your apparition knows it, they can cast it in a higher level spell slot. It's heightened. You can do whatever. It's gonna be a lot of stuff to keep track of. This feels like a pretty complex class.
Nah, it's cool. It's sick. I love it. It's really sick. It feels like you can prepare some stuff, but you have like something in the bag at any moment, right? So depending on which Animist spell that you or thing that you have, it does give you so many options. Oh, yeah. That's actually so sick, because that's so good because you can really not cater, but like it's like you feel like because you're 2 entities or 3 entities kind of all sharing the same body, that obviously you would have a vast array of shit that you could do. So yeah, you know what, as like the culmination of like, if this is like the representation of like shit's hitting the fan kind of rare class, and the other one, the Exemplar is like the melee version of that, they really do feel like the folk hero, and like and like this one's, and the other one is like the magic version of the folk hero, because that's the one thing, right? Like you want to cast powerful spells, but also you cast like a lot of spells. Like you're just like the folk wizard and the folk hero and the wizard companion.
Yeah,
or the magic companion or whatever. Yeah,
exactly. Like I love the vibes of these classes. The Animist as well. They have access to some of their class feats have the wandering trait. And wandering feats are feats that can be switched out for another wandering feat of the same or lower level during your daily preparations. Again, because you're channeling different spirits, so when you're preparing and you're choosing your primary one during your normal stuff, you can like change out this feat you have for essentially another feat, which I think is a really cool feature, and I really like that you don't feel stuck into something when you make a decision at like a certain level and then you're stuck with that feat forever.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So again, this class has a whole lot of versatility, which I'm really liking. The Exemplar from the playtest, again, like I said before, you get that Divine Spark. You can channel it through your 3 icons, whether body, weapon, or worn. And again, with the weapon or worn ones, you just get that a non-magical level 0 version of the item you need for free. So you might like stumble across a sword that only you can pull out of a stone.
Ooh.
This is a very GM heavy class as well, because again, there's like a whole narrative around you.
Nice. I like it. I mean, I think this class is probably built for Ramon. I don't like as a GM. Like I would love to give my players this. My players are basically this at this point.
Yeah,
I painstakingly customize every single piece of gear that they find, so they feel the most unique snowflake. Yeah, this is cool. Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna steal a lot from this. This is sick.
And yeah, again, like all these icons, I have a few. There are some that stood out, or some that I thought were pretty cool. Scar of the Survivor, I thought was pretty cool. It's essentially like a scar on your body that commemorates a time that someone tried to end your story and failed.
That's sick.
That's specifically described. And yeah, again, like when you channel your spark into it, it gets a passive bonus. So that passive bonus of that one is that you have a bonus on saving throws, and you also have the Die Hard feat when it's active. And then when you transcend, you have the ability called No Scar But This, where you use the ability and then you get 1d8 hit points back, and those hit points go up every 3rd, 5th, and so on level.
Nice.
So it's essentially like you will have no other scar but this one.
That's so sick. Ugh, again, I'm into it. This is so sick. hope everyone is as hype as me, because I'm pretty hyped for this kind of nonsense.
Yeah, man. And then there's Barrow's Edge, which is a weapon icon, where its passive imminence ability is a +1 persistent spirit damage per weapon damage die that you have on the weapon itself. But then you can use its transcend ability, Drink of My Foes, where if you've landed a successful strike, you can absorb some of your foes' vitality, and you get hit points equal to half the damage dealt. So if you have your iconic weapon that you keep like putting runes and stuff into, and it's getting stronger and stronger, once you have your focus on it, you can use it to heal yourself as well.
Hey, wait a minute. I was like, there's a certain demon-possessed axe that also has this ability. And it's my version is all of the HP. Or all the damage converts to HP. Oh, interesting.
Well, this one's a little less evil than that one.
Well, yeah.
Not that that's like a high bar to get over. And again, like we mentioned before, like these epithets, you can construct your character's title, the one that's applied to them in these mythical stories. You can be Cunning Bob, Restless as the Tide, Teacher of Heroes.
Oh, so good. I love Cunning Bob.
And yeah, that is, or at least right at the moment, those are the 2 classes in the playtest. Again, I'm going to have a link to it below so you can go check it out. If you do go to the actual Pathfinder playtest page, you'll find a spot where you can sort of drop reviews and stuff, basically informing them of how your own home games have gone using either of these 2 classes. And like it was mentioned before, there are digital tools if you need them. There is meant to be it was mentioned in the stream that there should be a module for Foundry. I'll just have to go actually find where that is so you can download it from. But yeah, the playtest page is linked below. Go check out the survey and drop some information and let people know how it's going, and if the class is maybe too powerful, not powerful enough.
maybe
it needs more stuff.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I'm excited. Hope you guys are excited too.
Oh, I almost forgot. You can also get the remaster version of the character sheet on that page. So if you want to get a look at that, you can also do so from that page. But I like, part of me just wants to go read all the stuff and all the names, but probably shouldn't. But I mean, that could be a whole episode on its own. But I would highly recommend going and checking out this class. The Exemplar and the Animist. The Exemplar is pretty big and bombastic, but the Animist also has a whole lot of versatility and options, and I think they could be really fun classes in a game. So go try them out, and let Pasion know how you feel about them.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm super curious, like, how long-term play would be for these classes. So I don't know how well you can do that in like a play test where you're mostly doing like combat stuff, but I want to see how these turn out. But yeah, that is where things are for now. Oh, and the book itself is scheduled for winter 2024. Just FYI. Whether we know which deity dies before then, I have no idea. Because they did not say so at all. Yeah, that is all the playtest stuff for now. Ramon, is there anything else you want to say about the playtest before we head into our normal outro stuff?
No, outro away.
All right. Well, thanks a ton, everybody out there, for coming and checking out the podcast. If you want to see more stuff from the channel, just go ahead and check out the podcast playlist. As well, we have live gaming streams on the channel. Currently playing through Alan Wake, which is pretty fun. Baldur's Gate 3, and Dead Space 3. Additionally, since this is coming out on Wednesday, swing by the channel on Wednesday evening, because there will be a big old crossover stream with the Untold Stories Project channel, where we're going to be playing some Baldur's Gate 3. And if you want to just see my face, you can watch it on the Women Dice channel. I'm pretty sure it'll have everybody's face over on the USP channel. I'm not sure yet, but I'm pretty sure that'll be the case. So yeah, come check that out on Wednesday evening at 7, I believe it will be, on September the 6th. So the day you're listening to this, if you're listening to it live. If you missed it, then the VOD will be up on the Women Dice channel, as well as over on the Twitch channel of Untold Stories Project. Which I would also recommend you check out if you are into superhero stuff and tabletop RPGs. And also check them out because they've got some one-shots coming up later this year. Additionally, we've got a whole bunch of third-party content creators for the Lancer RPG linked below and all their awesome stuff, so definitely go check them out if you are into the Lancer RPG. And that is just about everything. Yeah, that's everything. Definitely check out the gaming streams. They're a whole lot of fun right now. I have no idea what to expect from any of these games, because all of them are something I either I haven't played or I don't know a whole lot about, so it's all very exciting right now.
My favorite thing is how you just didn't understand free actions or like how to get a sneak attack off. Yeah, in Baldur's Gate, or bonus actions, yeah, in Baldur's Gate 3. You're just like, what the heck is this? What do you mean? You're like, stealth, and you're like, they see you. You're like, ah.
Yeah, come watch me learn how to play 5e through Baldur's Gate.
That's like the wrong medium to learn 5th edition through.
No, I mean, it's clearly working.
Yeah,
I don't know how I can play anything other than a rogue at this point, though. Like, how can you not dash with a bonus action? Like, it's such a minimal thing. I don't remember. It's fine. I can't hide with a bonus action? Come on.
Oh, God. All right. I guess tell the people the thing.
All right. Well, for all of our GMs and players out there, peerless under heaven, whose cry is thunder. Just remember to keep on winning with dice, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.